Everyone always complains about the bumps at Detroit. Since you can't get rid of the Midwestern winters that cause them, why not solve the problem another way? Just send out whatever has the beefiest, most compliant suspension you can find. Enter the Pro 2 trucks. You've probably never seen something quite like this as we get ready to watch 4 Drink Friday. You'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is DJ Clark. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Detroit did in fact have the Stadium Super Trucks race here, though they're a slightly different beast than what our competitors will be in today. Still, let's head to our track eye to take a more traditional perspective of the circuit. Welcome to the Belle Isle Street Circuit. Situated in a beautiful park on Belle Isle itself, it rests in the Detroit River, sandwiched between the Motor City and Canada. With it being in the far north of the Midwestern United States, as you'd expect, harsh winters make this a bone-jarringly bumpy track. It's most known for IndyCar's yearly visit, but has also seen IMSA hold rounds here lately. The 14 narrow corners only add up to a mere 2.3 miles in length, but it can tend to feel like a lot more just from the sheer stress of keeping your car out of the walls. Runoff is non-existent in the majority of corners, so mistakes tend to be punished with race-ending damage. The dangers include the tight and twisty fountain section with its rapid-fire set of bends, and the frightening turns 12 and 13, which end the lap with 2 swift kinks. However, the most notorious spot on the track is the exit of Turn 2, made famous by collecting the Corvette pace car into its hungry walls one year. The first 2 turns are a quick chicane, so the extreme change of direction, plus the rise in the track as it crosses over a creek, means grip and balance can disappear in an instant. While the setup of the car can sometimes help lessen the annoyance of the bumps a little, what this place all comes down to is driver skill and daring. Precision will pay off with the close proximity of the barriers. While it isn't a stroll in the park for drivers, fans get to enjoy the beauty of the scenery, all while watching some of the most thrilling racing an American street course has to offer. I'd seen a few different types here, although IndyCar is, of course, probably the most well-known to race around this circuit. But, well, what are we going to be seeing when we take these monstrous trucks around here?
Well, Joe, if this practice of qualifying is any indication, you're going to be seeing a fair bit of sideways around these 90-degree corners at Belle Isle, as there you see a car coming through, getting its tail out just a little bit. There is good overtaking opportunities here. Pretty much the same places as you'd expect when you're coming through an IndyCar. Good overtake into turn 3 and into turn 7, and it's going to get real tricky down through that fountain section, that 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 complex. But where I'm really watching these guys, what they'll be able to do and exploit what the trucks do best is frankly going to be the 12 and 13 complex. The high speeds there really let you get a nice little power slide on through those corners and blast down onto the start-finish straightaway. So that's going to be really fun to see, but I think one way or the other, Joe, this is just going to be fun to watch.
No doubt about that, and for more reason than one. We'll get into it a little bit later if you've never watched 4 Drink Friday before. Before that, we want to remind you about our sponsors, of course. Sunset Mortgage. Don't put your money in the bank, be the bank. Check them out today at sunsetcash.net. And then Octavio Tequila. Celebrate now for a great tasting tequila. Go to octaviotequila.com and purchase today. Century Financial Consultants, making the rest of your life the best of your life. You can check out their website at centuryretire.com. Now, real quick, why don't we run down exactly what goes into today's event? DJ, why don't you go over the race details for us?
Well, it is 4 Drink Friday, and as you mentioned, we are racing the Lucas Oil Off-Road Pro 2 trucks today. It's a 45-minute event here, and well, Joe, this is what makes it different. You have to drink 4 12-ounce beverages during the course of the race. That's right, you gotta do it. But on the racing side, we will be doing fixed setups, so at least everybody is gonna be on the same level of disadvantage, let us say, as they go around here.
Yeah, and they've got interesting rules with that too. Now, It isn't completely required. If you see a DD next to a name, and I think we've only got one here today, it looks like Adam Fulton will be the only one as a designated driver, as they call it. They do not have to drink, but they have to take extra pit stops to level out the playing field. Now, why do they need to do that? It's not just because of everybody else being slightly inebriated. You are not allowed to drink and drive. You actually have to come to a halt on the track, off the racing line, mind you. They specify that. That's going to be hard to find places out of the way here, but you cannot have the car moving, truck in this case, moving as you are taking your drink. So that's how we'll know when somebody is taking one of their four beverages. It has to be 12 ounce of a certain alcoholic content. So you can't cheat and get sort of the light beers, the sort of non-alcoholic beers and things like that. The other option, and this is an interesting one that we've had a few people do, DJ, you are allowed to do a shot, but you still have to consume the amount of water along with it that would equal 12 ounces. So you can do 4 shots, but then you still got to do enough drinking to equate the liquid.
It's one of my personal favorite rules, and frankly, I know from the days when I was drinking that I would probably just prefer the beer over doing the shot and that much water, because that would not feel that good sloshing around.
Yeah, no doubt. It amazes me, honestly, because I'm a lightweight, it amazes me they can even down 4 drinks within a half an hour. I would probably be pretty well gone and more on the floor than in my racing seat. As we're watching Matthew Hollander under qualifying, currently holds 4th position. Qualifying hasn't seemed to mean nearly as much in these 4 Drink Fridays. It's basically how quickly you can down things, and then of course how well you can keep the car pointed in the right direction after doing so. The other fun thing, if you haven't noticed, is the paint schemes. Michael Ost, I think, pulling out a good one here with the Gravedigger for fans of monster trucks back from the classic days. I think they still run that one, don't they? I haven't. Yes, I'm hearing they do still run Gravedigger. So as we switch to Bolton, also running a Tonka truck paint scheme, very appropriate.
I love that. Now I want to go buy my nephews a couple of Tonka trucks to have some fun. You see them bouncing there off the walls a little bit. That's going to bring up one of the interesting hurdles, let us say, to use a pun, that Detroit's going to present is these big chunky tires, Joe. You catch the wall wrong, you're going to not just sort of bounce off them. You're going to go sliding up the tires, and you may flip the truck over if you're not careful.
Yeah, and while they do have spare cars waiting for them, spare trucks, they obviously can't keep going if they flip it over. So they will have to take a tow, and that will be a severe disadvantage as they continue on, as it takes longer here in the sim to tow the truck into the pits than to be able to drive back to the pits. As we watched Hollander once again taking it around the last couple corners that DJ was mentioning. Fast sweepers through there, especially in these trucks. I'm amazed at how much speed they can carry and up to the line. So let's see what he's got this time. Last lap with his quickest at a 47.6. This one seems to have not counted. Must have brushed the wall somewhere along the way, or maybe cut across the grass just slightly. Speaking of which, it seems a few drivers have had problems trying to put a lap down, because we've still got 3 of them, despite 25 minutes having gone by, that have not set a time.
Yeah, and it's certainly one of those situations, as you see Teddy Framheim there, I think, just calling it a day on qualifying. But, it's one of those situations that, you brush the wall if you're racing this in the traditional of the Indy car, and, well, that's your race done. But you brush the wall in one of these trucks, you can keep going. And so I think that's why we're seeing these 3 guys that haven't gotten the time just getting those 0 or maybe 2 X's as they brush the wall.
Yeah, no doubt about that. One thing that I was also thinking of is that we don't have rules, at least last I checked. I know in previous races we've heard about this. They don't have rules on how it's consumed, and certain accoutrements have been added, such as funnels. I don't know how in detail we want to go into that in case we do have younger viewers watching, but some guys have gotten creative in how they speed up this process.
Certainly what I would call giving it the good old college try, Joe.
Okay, that is probably the best take I've heard on that. By the way, we do want to remind you that this is a sim, so we want to encourage people not to drink and drive in real life. These guys just basically having fun out there, getting to do something that you couldn't really do in a real race car, let alone just a car out on the road. So please be safe, and please leave it to this guys. Though feel free to enjoy your adult beverage as you watch them. I'm sure it'll certainly help the madness out here on this Detroit track with these ridiculous, bonkers stadium trucks. Jeff Schulem's still working to get a lap down, and he's still not gotten it. I'm not sure he's going to get one because he just bounced into the wall one more time, and he's running out of minutes. Latvala is going to come down and across and is number 12, and that, unfortunately, not going to count for him either.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are going to fall to that. But as you said, Joe, these guys aren't able to set a time. It's not the end of the world. We've seen some pretty ridiculous things happen in this series as we go along. So starting dead last, not the worst case scenario.
Very true. And it's not the biggest of fields. We've only got 12 cars out there currently, and I do see all of them signed into the session. So we should have all 12 take to the grid, it appears. Framheim, no surprises for those who follow the series. This is a spin-off from, which is the Porsche Owners Club. And Framheim has been dominating over there. He currently is on the provisional pole with Michael Johnson holding second, but Johnson is not out on track, so I'm not sure if he'll have much time to improve himself. Salehi, unfortunately, still dead last of the drivers who put a time in. That one did not count for him either. So let's jump over here to Oost as he comes through the fountain section. I almost worry a little bit if they do have a wreck early on that a pileup, I mean, these things bounce a lot. It's going to be kind of crazy in some of these more narrow spots.
Oh, yeah, I think specifically in the fountain section also, I'm just imagining nightmares coming out of coming through the turn 3, 4, 5 section that we could very well see. One of the sort of famed iRacing physics glitches with a car just shooting off into the air if we're not careful in the way some of this is going to go.
Bolton into third, and as he crosses that lap, not going to quite count. So Latvala with another go at things as he exits out of the 12 and 13 complex through turn 14 and across the timing line. Another one that unfortunately does not count.
Bit of a bad day there for Latvala, but I think one of the biggest problems these guys are encountering is it's not necessarily getting the front end on the wall or, a traditional rub like you'd think. It's the ability of these cars to stick the tail out, and I think they're just catching it on the back end. As there you see Framheim going fastest again with a 46.127.
Man, he has got this thing sussed out for sure. And Soleil is going to be the next to cross. Definitely under a single lap here in terms of times left. So I think everybody's starting their last flying lap. Salehi is going to put 150.5, slightly better, but it doesn't improve his position. He stays in ninth. That means next up, we've got Michael Oost still within the top 5. He's about 0.3 off of Hollander. It's a very wide spread for a small field, 4 seconds from first to ninth.
Yeah, certainly these cars are a little finicky, I can tell you. They're not my favorites to drive, but I know guys that absolutely, as Michael Oost bounces off the wall there, that's going to invalidate his time, as that is going to be a damage, and this is not going to count. But yeah, they're very tricky to drive, and if you get them locked in, you've got it. But 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get them locked in.
And Bolton not able to put one in that time through. No, actually he did. Excuse me. It counted, and it was his best. So he goes up to second as the checkered flag comes out. And Latvala's number 12 has one last shot to try and put one on the board. Is it going to be? Yes, a 50.6. That will put him in 10th, though, so he stays exactly where he was. And no change in his starting position. Michael Oost, as he comes through turn 5 and up to 6. This is certainly a corner that's going to exacerbate the understeer on these cars. He manages to get the tail hung out, though. When it's down the back stretch, he goes up towards turn 7, one of the potential places to make a pass. But he's got to keep it clean. They can take a lot of that curve to the inside. How much does he dare? Oh, he really gets that tail out there, DJ.
He's doing a Fast and the Furious there if he's not careful. And this is another area you see him. Ooh, that's going to slow him down a little bit. Got a little bit too much of that curve. Let the car slide a little bit. Here's another one of those great drifting opportunities, though. You can really let the car slide out through 8 and 9. Catch it back around. Oh, beautifully kept there from Michael Ost. I thought for sure he was going to be facing backwards.
He's certainly having fun. I don't know if it's the fast way around, but he's enjoying it. Oh! And he somehow kept it off the wall, two-wheeling it. If this lap counts, it'll be one of the most amazing laps I think I've ever seen.
Give him pole just for the sheer impressiveness of that.
Style points to style points, and it counts. It counts. It's not as fast as... Yeah, the style point should count, I think. He's still going to start in 5th place, and that is everybody in our qualifying. So our grid is set. Teddy Framheim starts on the pole with Michael Bolton starting in P2. Michael Johnson will be in 3rd, and the outside of row 2 has Matthew Hollander. Michael Ost starts 5th. First half of our field, DJ, is going to be rounded out by Eric Oviatt.
And the second half is going to start out with BJ Fulton there in 7th place. Nicholas Bludenthal is going to be 8th. Brian Salehi, in 9th, and followed by Corey Lotfula in 10th. He is the last guy to set a time with Jeffrey Shulam and RDD for the night. Adam Fulton lining up in that last row. Clock
ticks down to the last moments. I think we've got one person out there just having fun. Yeah, Shulam's just getting a little bit of practice in. As you're allowed to do, even though the time is up. There we go. So we start to grid. This is going to be fascinating. Again, you're watching 4 Drink Friday, where the drivers will have to imbibe of 4 12-ounce, hopefully not 12 beverages before this is over, 4 12-ounce beverages in this 30-minute race. But they cannot be driving the car as they're doing that, so they have to come to a stop at some point when they take those drinks. And on top of it, it's going to be a standing start in cars that have a lot of power and not a whole lot of grip. Who is going to be able to handle that one? We've sometimes seen drivers as well simply pull off to the side at this start, taking their drink immediately to lose as little time as possible as everybody's slowed up, packed up together very tightly in the first lap or two. Who is going to play what strategy? Well, probably the only series we've called here on GSRC where the strategy involves who drinks when. So, as the last few drivers find their way out to the grid, just waiting on Michael Bolton, and he plops himself down. Framheim is up at the top. The engines start to rev as the lights come up. Green flag is out. I think I saw a false start from Michael Johnson. Hopefully he doesn't get a black flag from that one. I think one truck in the background has at least decided to take his drink at the start. And I think that's BJ Fulton coming through turn 2. Is everybody going to be able to get through clean? It looks like they do.
Little bit of bumping along the wall in the back, and yeah, it looks like it is Fulton and Salahi are going to be the two who decide to take that drink right at the start. They're going to go in there, whoo, bit of locking up, cutting over that grass, as you are allowed to do in this series once we get under green. Getting real nasty there in the back, a little bumping and rubbing, but relatively clean through this first sequence of corners.
Yeah, for these trucks, everything is fair game, and they're really chucking them through in turn 5. In fact, Hollander and Bolton slamming the wall as Framheim exits onto the backstretch. He is going to have the lead by about a second. From what I can tell, and we do get messages on if drivers are drinking and how many drinks, BJ appears to have downed 2. So that's 2 out of the way for him right at the start, and he's now underway as a mistake from Hollander puts him in the wall and gives up second to Bolton.
Yeah, that was a big glance off the wall from Hollander. That actually may have been enough to do a little bit of damage to him there. That looked very violent. But Bolton keeping it relatively close here, up behind Teddy Framheim. So maybe being able to cut over some of these little grass patches is helping Bolton's time.
We'll see which is the right strategy as they come through the final few corners. He's still keeping the pressure on Framheim. Johnson in a very close fight with Oost, and in fact Oviatt involved in that as well as they come across the line. In fact, they're going to make a little bit of contact and into the wall. We might have our first truck over. Johnson's trying to hold on to it. He spins it out and he's going to get hit big time by Nicholas Bundenthal.
Oh, Bundenthal just left absolutely nowhere to go on that, and the two just kind of went flipping and flopping over each other. But here they come down that long straight into turn 3. That is Framheim still out in the lead with Bolton hot on his heels. Bolton a little bit into the wall there. That'll cost him a little bit of time, but not enough to really get him down.
Now, Johnson was stationary for a while. He didn't mark off a drink in our chat, but I think it's safe to say that he took at least one as he gets going, and he's now dead last on the field. Framheim ahead of Bolton. That is Teddy you see in the blue car. The yellow truck is Michael Bolton in the number 4. They come down to turn 7 once again. It's fascinating seeing these different lines too that they're able to take, since they can cut these corners without taking a penalty. And as they fly through the grass once again, looks like thought Oost maybe managed to get a spot over Oviatt there. That was for 4th.
He did. They were banging down the backstretch, and Michael Oost really just forced his way in there. But you can see here, looks like the 69 there of Hollander wiping out there on that little run out of the section. We're going to jump on the replay here, Joe.
And I think he took maybe one drink here real quick. Nope. No, it looks like he got going immediately. Bundenthal also managed to take 2 drinks as he went stationary between turns 5 and 6. This is Hollander's incident one more time. Yep, just a tank slapper, and wow, there's a good example of climbing the wall.
Yep, that was left front tires just getting real friendly with the wall and climbing up there on top of him, but he's able to get back going again. So Hollander, they're cutting through the grass. That is right in front of him, Corey Lotvola, who's been able to move up to 5th from his lowly position on the grid.
Blumenthal, I'm seeing with a 3rd potentially drink now. He's very quickly through this. We've actually, excuse me, it looks like 40-minute race today. And a little bit of contact between Hollander and Corey Lotvola. Hollander's going to come out ahead in the 5th spot between the pair of them.
Yeah, just forcing his way through there, which is what you can do in these stadium trucks. It's one of the really fun things to watch, is you don't have to worry about little bits of downforce getting spread out.
I think Shulam maybe took a drink. We got to go to the lead, though, because Bolton's looking to the inside through the fountain section of Framheim. He's not able to get it done. He's going to pull the over-under, though. And across the grass, tries to get the power down. It's a drag race into the final 2 corners, which is one of the more narrow parts of the circuit. Can they hold this off? Somehow they do, but somehow Framheim manages to use the outside line to keep ahead. He just grazes the wall, but he's got the lead.
I think running over that curve a little bit there for Michael Bolton may have slowed him down ever so slightly, but he is still hot on the heels of Framheim here, trying to find absolutely anything he can. Neither of these guys, mind you, have had a drink yet. Oh, as Framheim gets up into the wall, that's going to allow Bolton to maybe think about it but not do anything. But as I was saying, neither of these drivers have taken one of their 4 stops yet, so it'll be really interesting to see when one of them chooses to peel off and do so.
If they're going to go late. We have seen drivers try to go to the very end and then chug. Not the best advice thing if you don't have a strong stomach. Some of these guys are able to handle it. Looks like we've got Corey Lotvola in the pits. Wonder if he's another one of our DDs. Otherwise, they don't believe they should need a stop. Looks like Oviatt has taken one of his drinks. He continues on in 10th place.
Looks like Lottula getting a little bit of surface on the car there, so not entirely sure what's happening, but there comes Oviatt coming across the start-finish line in 10th right now. He has taken a few. Go ahead.
Framheim is taking his first drink. So he's given up the lead. Bolton now has it, and he's got clear track in front of him. You can see Framheim's on the back stretch currently along the river. And that was Hollander. I'm not sure if he was thinking about trying to hit him. I mean, they do at least have something of a gentleman's agreement around here.
Yeah, and I gotta think, if you hit him at that speed there, that's gonna do damage to your car as well. So not sure what Hollander was thinking there, maybe just trying to play a little head games with him. As now we're jumping up and around here, as that is Fulton pulling off to the side. He is one of our DDs, but he looks like he is taking a drink.
That's Adam Fulton, not BJ. And yeah, weird that he's pulled over. Maybe that is just incorrectly marked for him. But he gets it going once again. Down towards turn 3. Still waiting on Michael Bolton to take his first stop for a drink as he cuts over the grass at turn 3. Ost is the one chasing him. That is a lapped car behind him. That's Lottula. So that's not for position, but Michael Ost is about 5 seconds behind.
Yeah, Ost he's keeping this gap nice and easy. It's seesawing back and forth a little bit. He's been able to pull it out to about 5 seconds now. But I've got to think, if I'm Bolton, I'm really starting to think about strategy here in terms of when I'm going to take these drinks, as he's got about 20 seconds back to Hollander, and Framheim, he's 50 seconds back, so I think Framheim may have taken more than one drink on that stop we saw him make.
I suspect. Jeffrey Schulem looks like he's in pit lane. So it might be another designated driver just simply not marked. Waiting for his service to finish up. Going up to Ost. Ost is another one that I'm not seeing marked as having any drinks yet. And looking at his lap times, yeah, he hasn't had a slow lap yet, so it seems to bear fruit that he's doing the same strategy to Bolton up till now. And it's kept him within range.
And there we see Adam Fulton putting in the fastest lap of the race with a 2-minute 57. But yeah, Ost here just keeping the power down, keeping it nice and easy, gets tail out a little bit there. You can see that is your leader, Michael Bolton, in the yellow right in front of him. That's the lap traffic of Adam Fulton in between them. So both of these guys now playing a little bit of chicken with each other, trying to figure out when they're going to be the ones to take the first drink.
As Ost takes it through the 3, 4, 5, 6 section of the course. You can see the slight bit of elevation change that you've got here through this portion. Up and over the crest into 6. And whew, getting really sideways. Adam Fulton just in front of him. Had a little bit of a connection problem, unfortunately. We're about a quarter of the way through. BJ Fulton is still relatively close to Matthew Hollander. The number 69 is got about 6.5 seconds over BJ currently. Another great paint scheme here. Life found a way.
I'm going to be singing all night now, Joe. Thank you.
Well, anyways, the Californian taking it through turn 7, nice and tight to the wall as he wants to open up across the grass here and through the fountain section. At least this is very starkly different from the first track they ran the trucks at for this series, which is at Laguna Seca. There were a lot more places you could take liberty with the circuit.
Yeah, I think Teddy Framheim may have the best idea in terms of where you can go off safely, which is on that backstretch. Maybe you can do it on the long run from 2 to 3 as well, but I think those are about your only safe opportunities to be able to pull off to the side.
Been a while since we've seen any drivers stop in for their drink. And Fulton still giving chase on Hollander. Oh, but Hollander is off, and it looks like he's going to take another one of his. In fact, 2, if I'm reading correctly. So he gets out of the way. Nah, couldn't have been 2. I'd be shocked if he managed 2 right there. It's a little too quick for that. Yeah, that was, honestly, that was pretty fast even for 1.
That's that may be one of those extracurricular accessories that he's using there to help him get those a little faster. As he takes a very interesting line right into the wall.
He took the drink a little bit too fast instead of the corner, maybe. Unfortunately, that's going to send him into pit lane as he got stuck. So that'll set him down and probably out of the running for the win. Right now, your leader's still Michael Bolton, who you see on screen, leading by about 6.5 seconds over Michael Ost. Neither driver has taken their first of 4 drinks as far as we can tell.
Neither of them have. As there you see Ost. He was getting a little squirrely there coming out of that fountain section, but able to hold it down. And there you can see what I was talking about earlier in the broadcast about just getting that tail end out and around that turn 12 and 13 complex. Super, super fun to see. But yeah, Joe, I got to think that both of these guys have really got to start thinking about where they're going to take the drink here at this point, because it's coming close, and they're going to get into some serious juggling territory if they're not careful.
Yeah, well, BJ Fulton right now has a gap. Oh wait, BJ was the one that took a couple at the start. So that actually seems to have worked out quite well, because he's 23 seconds behind. So he'll probably catch up if they do 1, but then he's got, well, funny to have to say it this way, he's got 1 over them right now. Framheim on his climb back forwards after, we believe, taking 1 or 2 of his drinks, bounces off the wall a little bit onto the front stretch, maybe feeling it now. He's 3 seconds behind Michael Johnson, who himself just bounced off the exit of 2. Last lap through, Framheim with a 45 flat compared to Johnson's 49, way faster than the number 9 car.
Well, and what's really interesting if you watch him is he's not taking a lot of, this proves my point there in taking onto the grass, but he's not doing a lot of the major over the grass moves like we've seen Michael Bolton do a whole bunch of. He's largely sticking to what you consider the racing line, just kind of having the feel for this car on the tarmac as much as possible. So it'd be interesting to see if that maybe changes when he takes a few more stops for a drink, but as for now, he's just got the feel.
Smooth as you like. That number 10, I think he is very much on for the potential win here today if he can keep this up. Still not seen either of our 2 front runners in for their stop. Matthew Hollander is now back out from the pits after he had to take his toe getting stuck. He's going to continue running.
He'll continue on, and he is going to slot out directly behind Michael Ost, so that's interesting for him. But we watch here Framheim trying to work his way in on Johnson. As you said, that massive speed differential in that last lap. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Framheim just throw one up on the inside here on this next lap, as he's got the car under him completely.
Certainly looks like it. He's within a second now as they come across the line. Last time through, Johnson struggled through the 1-2 complex. He's going to cut in as Framheim is going to follow the road. And I suspect that is, in fact, going to be the faster way through. Not if you hit the wall like that. Framheim loses a little bit of the ground. Maybe he had to avoid Lotvilla, and that distracted him. He still closes in to within about 0.6 of a second. And cutting across the grass of 3, he is now right on the rear bumper.
He's right on the bumper, but every time he does, he seems like he just gets a little bit too tail happy there on those corner exits, but still able to keep reeling him in, getting closer and closer, and Lotvilla saying, I'd like some of that as well, too,
Ost is upside down. Ost is upside down. Oh, he turned it over. He got... Let's get a replay of this. Using the dynamic nature of this truck, he manages to get it right side up. I thought this was going to be game over.
gets into that tire barrier and just flicks the wheel back and forth until he can get the car back on its wheels.
Oh my goodness.
Amazing recovery from Michael Ost.
Fantastic job. That cost him a lot of time, though. He is 24 seconds down from Bolton. I believe Hollander looks like he may have taken a couple more drinks, so that should be him done, or at least close to done, if not. Though with his deficit, he's a lap down. Looking back to Framheim, side by side, coming through 12 and 13, but he can't get the acceleration off the corner. Johnson's going to fight him for it. Slipping back behind, Teddy Framheim sizes him up once again. Doesn't try to outbrake him. Down into the corner, goes for the alternate line. The one that we saw from him before, and into the wall goes Johnson. That hands it over. Framheim up to fourth.
And I think even if Johnson hadn't gotten into the wall, Framheim just had the momentum coming through that corner well enough that he had it well in hand. And so we'll have to see if he's able to really pull away here from Johnson, as I imagine he would be. But remember, Michael Johnson does have the fastest lap of the race with 48.5.
I think one of the ones that we're waiting to take a drink, I'm checking through my list. I'm not seeing anything. And yeah, he hasn't had a slow lap yet, so quite a few drivers going long on this one as we're already halfway through. Oh, and into the wall goes Framheim, or did he? No, he pulled over. This looks to be another drink for Teddy.
Yeah, that's a drink point for him, but still our leader's yet to drink, so this is going to be more and more strategy. Framheim just figuring that he doesn't want to fight with anybody, gets that. I think he saw a gap for himself. It was a pretty big one. Oviatt goes by him, but there you see our leader, Michael Bolton, still yet to drink here today.
The highest driver with drinks on him is BJ Fulton right now. He sits in third. And Oviatt would be the next one, having overtaken Teddy Framheim now. Looks like maybe Framheim finishing things out because he was stopped for quite a while. And he gets going once again. Framheim falls to sixth, but that could mean that he's ready to go to the end of the race. There's Oviatt on your screen in the 23. Need to double check and see how many he's marked down. I see only one from him so far.
There you see him bouncing off the wall a little bit there. You know, Joe, I'm really starting to think if BJ Fulton was able to knock out at least the majority of these drinks at the start, he was stationary for a good long time. He could really be in the catbird seat on this one. And he's got a good 50 seconds over Teddy Framheim. So even if he's got a drink or two to go, he may still have a really good advantage here.
I think you're right. It's only 6 seconds up to Ost, 35 up to the leader, which should be plenty of time to try and overtake them. It all comes down to how many drinks was he able to do on the grid. He comes up to exit out of the fountain section. Boy, he is really hanging out.
Our leader's in the pits. Michael Bolton is in the pits.
So Bolton apparently also one of our designated drivers, taking a stop. Ost is going to join him. Oh, wow. Okay. So Fulton should be able to get the lead. No, excuse me. Okay, so this is not for designated drivers. This appears to be that they need a stop because Fulton also pitting.
Yeah, so that may be for fueling a retread of tires here, as I have to imagine these dirt tires are not really liking this concrete as much as normal. But yeah, that could very well be what it is. Maybe these guys are also going to choose to take their drink while they are here, so we'll have to see.
I think Bolton just marked down a couple of his and is out and on his way. So yeah, I think he's got some of his done. Fulton going to follow him out. Johnson in behind. BJ Fulton marking another one of his gone.
Joe, if I'm looking at it and reading it right, that is 3 drinks both for BJ Fulton and Michael Bolton. That's 4 now for Fulton. So Fulton is completely done. Bolton looks like he may have one more yet to do.
And we think that Teddy Framheim might also have his, but we've yet to see him come into the pits. Ost is actually in there quite a long time. Okay, Ost is now finally coming back out. Or no, is he back in, actually? Oh, Ost is back in. Remember, he was already here before. Interesting. Oh, and he misses his stall on top of it. This is going to set him even farther down the order. All this is done is Teddy Framheim is back up to third behind Fulton and Bolton.
Yeah, and so these guys, Fulton and Framheim, Fulton is for sure done. We think Framheim is, or may be as well. A little unknown on that one, but it'll be a fun battle no matter what, as BJ Fulton has shown a lot of good pace here today.
I'm severely impressed, especially if he drank some of those so early in the race and still has his facilities to be lapping this well. He's got to try and shake Teddy Framheim, who's now in a position battle on track. As they come down into turn 7, he's not going to be able to be close enough to attack. In a track that requires precision, a car that doesn't require precision, in an activity that hinders your precision, this is going to be an interesting mix.
Yeah, it's not exactly what you'd call a perfect scenario, but it sure makes for a lot of fun to watch. As there you see Fulton was able to get a little bit of a better exit over Framheim out of the fountain section. We'll see how they do through here. Framheim's been able to do really, really well through this slip and slide. He's going to throw one down the inside, but oh, Fulton bounces off the wall. Framheim in front. They touch, and Framheim's got him.
Oh, but now he's got to pit. He got the track position, and then he has to immediately give it up. So Framheim taking his fuel. This puts Fulton back into second place. Bolton, 45 seconds ahead of BJ currently. He's got a monster lead, and he's got 16 minutes left to go.
He's got 16 minutes, and unless he mistyped, he's still got one drink to go. So that, depending on how quick he's able to get those down, he should be able to get it, I would imagine, looking at, I may lose 15 seconds on a stop if he's able to get it quick to Fulton, but Fulton's going to really have to put the pedal to the metal here, see what he can do.
Framheim returns, and it's going to be a battle between himself and Ost. Out onto the run to turn 3. Ost just barely ahead. They're grazing the outside wall of 2 as they take these trucks to the limit. Framheim's got the run, but not enough of one. And as they break into the third corner, he's going to have to sit behind, or is he? Ost looks a little shaky off the turn. He covers off the inside. Goes defensive. Oh, too far inside for Teddy Framheim and a hard slam.
Oh, that's real nasty. You see him there weaving back and forth, just checking the suspension a little bit, as I think he, ran really wide there. That may have actually done the impossible and damaged the car ever so slightly, Joe.
Gets it going once again. You can see he's lost a lot of time. It's 4 seconds up to Ost now at this point.
Yeah, that car's really starting to crab on him. He just looks like he's driving sideways, which, I mean, is understandable in these trucks, but at the same time, it's more than normal. So I think that actually did do some damage to that car of Teddy Framheim.
So we're still waiting on Michael Bolton to potentially do one final drink up at the front of this race. And BJ Fulton giving chase behind him. Kind of surprised at Michael Johnson getting back into this thing. He's up to third currently. Trying to see how many he's taken, if he's marked them down, and I'm not seeing. So he has had that one slow lap when he came in, and I believe that was his pit stop. So we're not sure if he's drank when he was stationary in his stall.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I do have to say, though, BJ Fulton did just have a nice little encounter with the wall. He's able to keep going, but did cost him a little bit as he works his way. That is Brian Salahi right behind him. He was able to get around him, but definitely got a little too friendly with the wall coming off of, or coming onto the backstretch, rather.
Yeah, Bion is definitely well out of this one, being a lap down, unfortunately, so he's just trying to make it to the finish, maybe having some fun and an excuse to drink tonight. Love seeing these things go sideways as they exit the corners, and Fulton seems to love doing it. As he has a good handle on the machine. Get that tail end out. Jurassic Park truck still working hard to try and chase down Bolton, but he's losing time. It's up to 50 seconds now behind Michael Bolton.
And that should be well in hand for Bolton to make that one last drink he's got to do, if that's still correct. So he's got this well in hand unless something happens. And, well, Joe, as we've seen as many times during the course of this race, nothing's out of the realm of possibility.
Oh, there have been some crazy finishes in this series for sure. Love all the smoke and dirt that they're kicking up as well. That isn't supposed to be on this track, but just the nature of the way they are racing it, certainly dragging it all over. Closest fight that we've got, I believe, is Framheim still trying to catch back up to Ost. Remember, they were closer together, and then Teddy, with a little bit of a mistake, lost about 5 seconds. He's got it down to 4 seconds currently. He does seem to be pacing slightly quicker than the number 6 truck.
Yeah, so I guess that's that crabbing that we thought we saw out of Framheim was just him trying to get bearings on the car as he is able to close up. Ooh, big sideways there action from Michael Ost. It's going to slow him down a little bit, but able to get it nice and clean and collected through 4 there. Going to try to reposition himself for 5. Comes through, little touch of the grass. Big sideways again there for Ost. He's just having a whole bunch of fun. That is Framheim behind him, able to get around that lapped car, so he's going to be able to really set his sights on Michael Ost in front of him now.
Yeah, and the bad news is, even with the lap truck, he's cut it down by about half a second. So Framheim is once again flying, and if he could have just had a little bit better results or a little bit more consistent laps, we could see him leading this race. He's not right now, but I feel like he's been one of our fastest drivers that we've been watching all day long. He's got to make up, wow, it's almost a full lap. He's a minute 28 behind our leader currently. I don't think that's going to be possible with just over 10 minutes to go.
No, and especially not if he keeps brushing the wall like that, as you just see everything getting a little bit more loosey-goosey, as you can rightly imagine why with these the races and with the laps and the drinks counting down here tonight.
That time by, it was a 45.8 for Framheim and Ost, a 46.3. Continuing to chop away. That number 10 wants to at least get himself a top 5 today. And he can clearly see him through the windscreen at this point. At least they don't have to worry about tear-offs as much.
No, although I will say, when I used to race this in the open wheelers, you still get a little bit of kick up, so you got to take it off occasionally, but it's not like the full clods of dirt that you get at, say, Crandon.
Ost hustling it as best he can, trying to hold back Framheim, but it's under 3 seconds at this point. On to the back stretch. Boy, Framheim is really hanging it out. Got it down to 2.5. As they pull down the back straightaway up towards turn 7. Let's see what Framheim can gain under braking. Ost is certainly not hanging around either. That car looks pretty quick through some of these corners.
Yeah, neither of these are exactly... Ooh, big side hit there for Framheim. That's going to cost him, as you can imagine. Slipping back a little bit, but still having Ost right in front of him. Ost locking up as he comes in through turn 11. That's a very easy place to do.
And they've got a truck on its side. Bunenthal is stuck, trying to get it back on its wheels. He's working hard on it. He's trying to repeat the feat that we saw earlier. Oh, come on.
Come on, man. You can do it. You can do it.
Might need some help. Hopefully somebody's watching. There we go. All right. Beautiful trick there for Nick.
It was nice. Yeah, there you go. You could see him just working it this way and that. He almost had it, and then he got it up against the wall. This is how he got into the position to begin with. We've seen a couple guys do this. He'd catch that tire barrier coming out of 11. He's able to keep it there. I think he's going to lose this going down into 12 here, Joe.
my guess. Yeah, it's a little too wide. Oh, clips it. And then from there, the tires find the wall. Find it twice as he does a barrel roll. And unfortunately, you can't do that, Star Fox. So, as he gets it going once again, I should point out that Teddy Framheim is less than a second behind Michael Ost. He's got him down to within attacking range.
Does. There you can see great backwards camera angle. Framheim just absolutely hunting him down as they blast down this straightaway. Will he be able to make the move on this lap here? Heavy under braking going down into the fountain section.
Still not able to get it to the inside through there, but he's strong across the grass. He manages to get right back to that tailgate, then falls back, unfortunately. Almost looks like maybe on the dirt portions he's a little bit better. That's going to help him out. Poor exit from Michael Ost. He goes defensive. Long way around for Teddy Framheim. We've seen him attempt this before. Little bit of a touch between them. He gets slammed into the outside wall. Michael Ost with the lightest of touches, unfortunately sending the blue truck into the tires.
That's a really good defense there from Ost. He gave him just barely enough room, and Framheim just not able to get the power absolutely fully down where he needed to. But Framheim's still really close behind him. This battle is anywhere but over.
Oh, and Hollander is back in pit lane. So that's going to bump them up. Ost into fourth, Framheim into fifth. Hollander returns in the sixth position before Oviatt, the next truck back, can manage to sneak through, which actually, Oviatt is the last driver on the lead, or no, excuse me, he's the first driver a lap down. So only 6 trucks are with the same lap as Michael Bolton right now.
And speaking of Michael Bolton, I can confirm he has taken his final drink. So he now has about a 40-second gap over BJ Fulton, all drinks consumed with 6 minutes, about just under 7 minutes to go.
Impressive stuff. Back to that fight between Ost and Framheim down the back stretch. Framheim a little bit closer. Don't think he's going to have anything down into turn 7, though. He's a little off the apex. Oh, but look at him try and pull it back here, setting himself up off of turn 8, and he just can't get the pass done. Managing to get side by side, but no more than that. Looking out of turn 11. Better exit from Michael Ost in the number 6. At least it looks like he won't have to go side by side through 12 and 13.
He won't, and massive credit there to Teddy Framheim. The reason he fell back a little bit there was because it looked like he was going to run full on into Michael Ost, and he did not want to do that. So great driving there from Framheim, but this battle isn't done yet. He's going to come onto the main straight. Is he going to have a look through 1 and 2? No, he's not going to be close enough. He's going to keep it there. This is, I think, the pass is going to be tried to made into 3.
Up on the back of him. He needs the good exit right now, but I think Ost was mildly better. No, here comes Framheim. Back at him. He's got the inside. No defense from Ost. Oh, a late defense. They come together, and he's going to turn and topple over. Framheim continues on as Michael Ost takes to the runoff, and he'll get slotted down into 5th.
Oh, not the way you want to see that battle end, as it was just a fierce and furious battle all the way through, and Michael Ost ended on his head. But he looks like he will be able to at least continue on for a little bit. But that is Hollander right behind him there, only a couple of seconds back, so he may not be out of the woods quite yet either.
That means our closest battle is now between Michael Johnson and BJ Fulton for second place. I think this is by pace alone, unless BJ had a mistake this lap, because I'm not seeing any aberrant laps. Let's see. You can see the last lap was pretty close, so this is the one we want to watch for as he crosses. No, this was, yeah, this entire thing was Michael Johnson simply running him down on pure pace, and is now looking at potentially snatching second.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye out of this out of the corner of my eye, Joe. Johnson's really just been laying down some smooth laps here, closing in on Fulton. There you see him, that gap's down to about under a second, looking at about 7-8 tenths here as they cut across the grass for turn 3.
He gets a few more tenths off of him. He's got 4 minutes to do it. Can he manage to overtake BJ Fulton's Jurassic Park machine? Out through turn 5 and up onto the critical turn 6 over the bridge. Glancing the inside, both of them, and right up to the outside wall. Johnson has it down to 0.4 of a second now.
He's slowly but surely reeling him in this stadium section. This is where passes have been set up in the past. You see him, they're going to the inside, just trying to fake him out a little bit. They both take a line, let the tail ends ride out a little bit. Johnson takes a wider exit off the corner, but he's able to keep it nice and tight, both over the grass. That gap's going to fan out a little bit. Johnson gets his tail end into the wall ever so slightly. That gap is now expanded outwards to about a second. So that fountain section not helping Michael Johnson out.
A little bit surprised. It seemed like he was catching him so quickly, and now suddenly drops back to hold the whole 2 seconds behind. And we got a truck off. That looks like Adam Fulton maybe taking his final drink as he's stationary. 2 minutes, less than 3 minutes barely left to go. Michael Bolton still our leader by about 34 seconds over this fight that we're watching currently. BJ Fulton and Michael Johnson for second place.
And Johnson critically able to get up and around there of that lapped car of Corey Latvala, so that's going to be really nice for him. But he's going to try to keep putting the pressure on him here, but it looks like Fulton knew where it was coming and was able to get away on this lap, but we'll have to see if he can keep it.
Hollander in a fight with Ost. He's managed to catch up to him, and he's looking for a way around. He takes the shallow line, but there's nothing there, and he smashes into the outside wall. Loses a little bit of time from that, but he's within range. It's 0.4 of a second up to the number 6.
We tick down just under 2 minutes here. They're really looking for it.
I think Johnson's got a good run, and he's going to have the inside down into turn 7. Fulton can't defend. Hopefully we don't see an incident like before where he tries to defend too late. No, he's going to make sure and give him to the inside. Johnson gets it done, but now can he run away?
Great move from Johnson. The stadium section was his downfall when we were watching this battle before, but it looks like he's got it down pat here.
And Framheim's taken a tow. I'm checking to see if he maybe made a mistake. Oh, he unfortunately ran into a truck that was parked across the track, and he landed on his lid. It was Bayan Salehi. He has quite a tumble. It looks like we unfortunately won't be able to get the replay up of it. Johnson, now that he's past Fulton, is about 0.7 ahead. But are we on the last lap? Our software is showing it. I think it was a little bit close from Michael. Yeah, I think, yes, this is the last lap. So Bolton should be taking the checkered flag, as he's still got 35 seconds, and as far as we can tell, he has finished his drinks. He is sitting pretty.
He's good to go, working it through that stadium section one last time. He has been an absolute master getting over the grass. Whew! Getting around a slow car there in front of him, had a little bit of an off. Bolton having a little fun there, letting the tail slide out through the fountain section.
Nice drift all the way around, leaving 2 trails. And as he comes up to 12 and 13, with nobody in sight, once more putting some style in it, almost overdoing it even through there. Down into the line, the number 4 is going to be our winner for 4 Drink Friday here at Detroit. Nicely done to Michael Bolton.
Having a lot of fun coming across the line there, and a great win for Michael Bolton. Here we pick up second place Michael Johnson, who was able to just absolutely power his way through to second place. You see BJ Fulton doing a little bit of that skidding out behind him as well, coming through 12 and 13 for the last time.
Michael Johnson, who qualified in 3rd, is going to go up 1 spot, and a late race pass is going to give him second place BJ Fulton across the line to complete the podium. And from there on down, only 2 more trucks are on the lead lap. Ost in 4th is still ahead of Hollander in 5th, but not by a whole lot.
Yeah, Ost has been able to pull that out. Hollander trying to reel him in here.
It's not over.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
A mistake from Ost. And now Hollander is thinking he could do something with this as they come into... Oh, excuse me, that's Bunenthal in front of him. I thought that was Ost that he was about to race with. I was watching the wrong screen. Yep, Ost's going to be well clear. Michael takes fourth. Hollander, the last one on the lead lap in P5. That's going to round out our finishers here for 4 Drink Friday. We'll come back after a short break. We'll give you the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, so don't go away. Welcome back to Detroit Belle Isle, and well, we had a fun one here today for 4 Drink Friday. In the end, Michael Bolton took the victory from starting in second, and Michael Johnson finished second, starting from third. BJ Fulton is the one that made a big climb, though. Qualified 7th and started with a unique strategy and wound up third because of it. Matthew Hollander wound up on 4th place, as it seems to we've lost one of them. Ost must have gotten a black flag, unfortunately, there at the end, as he gets slotted farther down, because 5th went to Oviat, who was a lap down, and Teddy Framheim, unfortunately, who did not get to see the checkered flag, also a lap down, finishes out the top half of our 12 and 6th.
As Joe mentioned, that was Michael Ost coming home in 7th and Nicholas Bludenthal in 8th. Jeffrey Shulam 9th and Bayan Salahi in 10th. Bringing up the last 2 cars in the field, that was Corey Lotvala in 12th and Adam Fulton Corey Lotvala in 11th, Adam Fulton in 12th. There we go.
So we've got our winner ready to talk to us, Michael Bolton. Let's see what his strategy was like going into things. Michael, congratulations. It looked like pretty early on you were sitting quite well, as you had taken, from our estimations, 2 drinks early on, and were sitting the highest of those who had drinks for much of the race.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you, guys. Yeah, today was quite an interesting turnout. You know, when we were doing qualifying, I was pretty bummed that Teddy got P1, but you know, that's Teddy. He's fast, and first time in the truck on this track, so I was like, okay, let's try to battle a little bit. Sure enough, first couple laps they felt really good. Was able to kind of catch him, and then just kind of waited. You know, tried to burn through the fuel, get my pit stop done, pulled forward out of my box. I drank around, I think, 2.5, 3 drinks. And then I stopped later on for another drink. And then as I was driving, I was like, let me check my cans real quick. And I had some more in one of the cans. So I actually had to stop another time to just do a quick swig. But, you know, I didn't want to cheat. So I'm glad I could pull it. I'm glad I could take it home 30 seconds in the lead. I'm super stoked about that.
A man of honor. I like that. So I have to ask, because of your paints, what was your favorite Tonka toy as a child?
Oh man, any of the dump trucks, I think the ones that you could sit in and ride around and play in the sandbox, man, that's great. I mean, you guys know I love cars, I love Tonka trucks. I'm pretty much a 29-year-old kid, but gotta stay young at heart, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I like that theory. So, we've asked this before of drivers, so I'll ask you now that you've won this one. If you could have a choice for a combination in the future in these Four Drink Fridays, what would you like to see them attempt?
Great question. Well, the rally trucks or whatever these off-road trucks are really great to just put on any course. It's a lot of fun, especially when you're cutting. I would love to do a track like a European track, maybe like Spa or Le Mans could be really interesting. Maybe it's a too big of a track for the small field that we have, but yeah, I'd like to see us maybe go overseas and experiment with some of that, or possibly like a Four Drink Friday with rally cars. I think that could also be really fun with some jumps. I'm sure you guys would love that.
Oh, yes, we we would definitely enjoy that. That sounds like some good ideas. We'll see what the organizers think of that. But again, congratulations on the win, Michael.
Thank you so much, Joe. Just want to give a quick shout out, quick thank you to you guys at the Global Sim Racing Channel. You guys are awesome. Shout out to the POC. Shout out to Matt Hollander, and shout out to my family and my friends for supporting me through these crazy times.
Great stuff from Michael Bolton taking victory today at Detroit. Up next, Michael Johnson going to be talking to DJ Clark after his second place finish.
Well, Michael, we had you pegged a little farther down in the field, and then you just made an absolute flyer of a chase on BJ there. Talk us through that, my friend.
I think it was just hang on. It's hard to form words at the moment. It's strategy. Um, I had the one stop right at the beginning that was an unplanned stop. I think I went upside down and rolled over and was way back. So I slammed two beers very quickly right there. Took off. Then I think caught up with Teddy, or Teddy caught up with me, and that's when they hit. And then right after he got around me, I had to stop for fuel. So I did my fuel stop, pulled forward just at the pit exit, came to the side, slammed two more. But I think what I did that nobody else did is I took tires. And having tires that were in really good shape put me in a good place to be able to catch up. And I think if I hadn't had that roll, I might have been able to give Bolton a little bit of a run for his money.
That's really interesting. I made a comment earlier in the race about I wondered if tires were a thing. But that's fascinating. Yeah. I mean, it looked like you just kind of had speed the entire race, and so, oh, what could have been, man? I'm a little heartbroken for you on that roll then.
It was a roll of the dice after the roll, so I had to change my strategy. A couple of weeks ago, or last month, whatever it was, when we ran the previous race that I ended up winning, I ran all the way till the end, and I was like, well, I got to stop because I haven't had my drinks yet, and I slammed 4 drinks in a minute, and then went flying and did my last, I think, 2 laps, which was kind of what my general plan is: drive most of the race relatively sober, but not looking like you're sober, because it's entertainment, got to have fun. And then if you get stopped for any reason, something happens, you kind of get to that point where, okay, well, is it appropriate to take a drink here? Am I in a good spot to do it? Yeah. So yeah, like with that roll, it was perfect spot to take a drink, so I did.
Oh, that's fantastic. For the record, you drive on Four Drink Fridays the same way I play poker. But
Good, we should play poker sometime.
there you go. But anybody you need to thank before we let you go tonight?
Oh, my girlfriend for putting up with this. She ran over. I live in Texas, and she ran over to a barbecue place while she was out and got barbecue. And I was like, I gotta go do a race real quick. I'll be back, I hope. And then, of course, my clients, my coaching clients, Sanjay and Ben, who are my 2 biggest clients out there that I work with a lot, and Jason as well. Thanks, guys, for keeping a roof over my head and food in my belly.
All right. Well, Michael, thank you so much, and congrats on second place. Joe is now with our third place finisher, BJ Fulton.
Yes, BJ employing the strategy of taking some drinks at the start. Now, BJ, that did seem to pay off because it got you kind of in clear air, and you did it while everybody was still close together and holding each other up. But does that have the disadvantage of also being a little bit more inebriated for much of the race?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I I didn't expect it. The main thing was that these cars are really fun to drive and drift around, but if you do that and drive them like they are fun to drive, you tear up those rear tires. So I was trying to baby it through that first stint, but it was real hard to do after those two drinks.
Now, obviously, you had Michael coming up on you at the end there pretty quickly. Did you have any idea that he had changed tires like he talked about, or did that completely catch you off?
I did not know he changed tires, and in fact, he tricked me because I asked him if he was finished with his drinks, and he said that he was. So I thought I had second lockdown. I just had to slow him down a bit to make sure I could, repass him when he stopped. But I guess he had finished his drinks because there was no more stops.
So all kinds of gamesmanship happening
Yeah.
out there. So since we asked a question based on the paint scheme for our winner, I'll ask you, what's your favorite dinosaur?
I like the Velociraptor. They're very cunning, very
Ah,
smart, and they hunt in packs.
yeah, very classic. I dig that. All right. Well, congratulations. Is there anybody you want to thank for the podium today before you take off?
Yeah, of course, I'll thank the sponsors: Sunset Mortgage, Century Financial, Octavia Tequila, and my friends and family for watching, and you guys for covering it. But of course, most of all, my wife for letting me spend so much time, on the sim and drinking on a Friday night on the sim instead of hanging out with her, which I will do right now.
That sounds like a good idea and sounds like a pretty good evening, which we're going to enjoy ours here in just a moment just after we thank some of our sponsors, of course, starting with Sunset Mortgage. Don't put your money in the bank, be the bank. Check them out today at sunsetcash.net. Also to our sponsor, Octavio Tequila. Celebrate now. For a great tasting tequila, go to octaviotequila.com and purchase today. Very appropriate sponsor for this race. Century Financial Consultants as well sponsors this race. They're making the rest of your life the best of your life. You can check them out at centuryretire.com. Thank you goes to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcast. They've listed them here on the screen. And also thank you to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See to get how to get a hold more of her great work on Bandcamp. Thanks to the team today, Sean, DJ, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. Also, check out our social media, which includes Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. If you'd like to support us, we've got a merchandise store simply at gsrc.storeenvy.com. We've got a link in the description below. If you're going down to check that out, make sure that you subscribe to our channel. You'll know if you haven't yet because it'll be a big red button that says subscribe. Click it so that you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. We have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.